evening. This is Community Unity Now. I'm Trudy Leong, Administrator of the Rogers Park Chamber of Commerce, and this is Bill Morton, President of the Rogers Park Chamber of Commerce. On Community Unity Now, the D Tycoon Show today, we have a very special set of guests. They're members of the cast and crew of Grandma D and the Magic Book Machine. Hello, Tristan. How are you?
Hi.
Hello,
Good. Thanks,
Fifi.
Trudy. Thank you, Bill, for having us. Really appreciate it.
Hello, Fifi, and hello, Grandma D. Well, first of all, hi. You're looking good, everybody.
Thank you.
Yeah, they do.
Please tell us how Grandma D and the Magic Book Machine was created and a short history about your audience through the years.
Sure. So back in about 2015, 2014, I was just getting into my first classroom. And I realized that, and this was early childhood, and I realized that the books weren't being taken to. So I basically developed a puppet to bring to story time, and that started bringing eyes to the books. Then I started writing a story, a show involving the puppet. And then I started making another puppet, and then it just kind of advanced to, we got selected by a group at Pride Films and Plays here in Chicago. And so we performed our first shows that summer in 2017. And then we've just basically advanced from there, doing different libraries and daycare centers and different events, including like just the art in response to violence at Northeastern Illinois University. That was great. But yeah, we've just been around for a while, and it just evolved from an idea to get kids involved. And then from there, I developed the grandmother character, which or I should say all the puppets are life size. So I made Grandma big enough to get a grandma hug, because grandma hugs are the best, right? Right? So we wanted to give kids a different way to bring out a story, to catch a little bit of empathy for one another, because as an educator, I've noticed it's kind of lacking in the rooms, and no fault to the kids or anything like that. It's just something that's missing in society. So we do that by doing these shows and just continuously bringing smiles to people, and also just storylines that aren't necessarily things that you'd associate with puppets that still need to be talked about. And I realized that those first few times of reading with the kids is that they were able to take on the information that even I would share with the adult puppeteers. You just have to bring it down in like their language. They're still smart enough to catch what we're talking about.
Where was the location of the first ever show?
Oh, well, that would be my library at the, I'm just kidding. That would be at Pride Films and Plays, Performing Arts Center. Yeah, up off of Sheridan and Broadway there, for their summer children's portion of their programming there. And so that summer we did we did 3-day shows for 4 weekends, where we did a different show every week. So it was kind of a little insane to do, but I think the kids really enjoyed it, and it was a different show every week, wasn't it?
It was.
Yeah.
Had a lot of fun.
Didn't you?
So much fun.
Right?
So the
So,
reaction, the reaction from the kids, and they have the parents with them at your shows, correct? How are they? How do they
Yes.
react to your show?
I will say that we get more often than not the feedback comes online after the show. Though we do generally take the puppets out and have the kids meet them, you know, they get to talk. Some younger kids, 2 and younger, kind of get scared of the puppets, but when we would go out there, you know, with the mothers and fathers or family members that are bringing the kids, they're always like, oh, this is just so wonderful, you know, and the kids just, they're bright colored, fun characters, whether we're telling a serious story or whether we're having fun and singing a song. So good feedback. We've had young queer youth write me. We've had mothers tell me online that their neuroatypical youth are able to stay still for 10 minutes by our show. I don't know if it's the bright colors. I don't know if it's the silliness of what the characters sound like, or maybe there's something in the story. So there are these little moments that I get, these little, that's what's the best part about the show, is getting the little bit of feedback from the kids who it's for, you know. So what positive or what feedback we have gotten has been very positive.
How did the pandemic affect Grandma Dee and the Magic Book Machine?
Well, I gotta say, we do all, or pre-pandemic, it's only been the performing live. And I will say this, that pandemic gave us a different opportunity. We performed online, I guess you could say. My past employer was cool enough to say to us teachers, we'll keep you on and keep you paid as long as you turn out work. And a lot of them turned out like things, printed off things, kids can color, da 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 da. I wasn't going to do that. So I apparently decided I was crazy and wrote 50 little 7 to 20 minute shows that we would do daily, and I would send them in as my work for the day. So online, you see these little smaller versions of our show with my lovely partner and 2 of my roommates, who one of them directed the last show we did at in Rogers Park there. So they voiced the puppets while my lovely cast members couldn't be over because of the pandemic and not being, you remember, we were all in bubbles and trapped. So I couldn't have them over, and I wasn't willing to send the puppets to their house to have a Zoom play, though that might have been cool. But also the mail service was terrible then.
So you have 50 different shows, 7 to 12 minute shows. Are you utilizing them? Do you switch it out very often when you're doing different performances?
Well, to be honest, those are just like those little snippets that we made specifically for online. So those were written daily. So I have other shows that I have a few other shows that are slightly longer, like the one that we just did a few weeks back, that are anywhere between 40 to 50 minutes long. That share, some of them are, I will say, I used for the smaller versions, but these are, like I said, an extended version of that episode for online. Right now they're on Zoom, or excuse me, they're on YouTube. So yes.
When you shared the video with your students, you had the actual videos shared to them, right? During COVID, like not the YouTube link, but
yeah, exactly. I would send the video in. We did a couple times. I will say we did a couple on Facebook Live. We did shoot some live ones on there, and then I would turn those into my school as well. So it was kind of a mix of things, I guess you would say. So I would send them in, and then also post live ones too that were meant for the school, but also could be taken for everyone. You know, it wasn't school specific.
And as a result, you probably expanded your audience.
I'd like to think so, and I will. The last school that I worked at became a very supportive school for the show itself, and I was lucky to have that support for that time. They did really back Grandma D and the show. Hmm.
How did and did the kids and their parents follow up with the school, the libraries, and asked about the book that they saw at the Grandma D and the Magic Book Machine show?
I have the only thing I honestly, that is more of a conversational thing that would happen just naturally, I guess, in that kids, we would read the book and kids would go and ask about it, or kids, I have one child I remember who would ask if we would read the book that they chose, and that was their favorite book. And I was like, I don't know. Remember my friend Mihai? Yes. So so they really enjoyed this certain book, and it was something that I brought into the class with, again, doing the puppet. I brought into classes. This was a couple of years ago now, and so I brought the puppet into class, and we used that book, and then that book just popped off with the kids in the class. They wanted it, and she wanted it, and it was great.
What about the authors? Do you follow up with them?
That's it's not something that I've done, honestly. I probably should have, to see if that is something that if they did go out and purchase the book, or if it was something. I know a lot of the students that I've come into contact with this show. Oftentimes, if we're saying what books do you read or something like that, they'll mention books that they've seen at the library or that they want at the library. But oftentimes I've not heard, or I haven't asked about follow-up about if they've purchased the book or anything like that.
What about the kids that sometimes recognize you and your cast members in the city? You run into your fans, and do they ask about what new book is coming up?
I don't think I've had it. I think I feel a little. Grandma, have you been?
Grandma is famous now.
All right.
Don't forget my TikTok page, y'all.
Right. Can't forget about Fifi's.
I'm the famous one.
That's true. She is. Fifi's a little about, well, herself. I'll say that much. I love you, girl. Don't worry.
They're all the same.
Yeah.
Thanks, Grandma.
Yes. But I haven't had anybody say, "Oh, hey, you're the puppet guy" or anything like that. But it is mostly with the last school I'm telling you about. They got to know the characters and would ask Mr. T to play for snack time one of the Grandma D videos. And so at that point, I would put on one of the longer ones for snack time, and they enjoy it because it's a cute little show that they can learn from and use these little moral and positive mind-building little stories and friendships that are built to kind of go in and use into their lives and carry that through their little lives. Because like I said before, they're just sponges, and I as a teacher learn more from the kids, I think, sometimes than they do from me. So I like to think that this is a building from all those kids that I've taught over the years, and it's a gift back to them. So.
What was one of the favorite comments that you received from your audience? What'd you say? Feedback.
I think it was the one that I told you before about the mother's comment. It literally, there's some times when you just don't think about what your show or who your show is going to affect, because like I mentioned, some of these characters are queer. We wanted to have underrepresented people, be it the performers or the characters themselves, right? Like we have a trans character that's a puppet, right? So
We sure
we
do.
sure do. And so we just really, we've really just tried to cover a whole gamut of things so that everybody is just kind of, it's a place where everybody can go and just be themselves. That's all we've ever really wanted to create here, was a safe space for everyone to come read, whoever you are. And I like to think that we're doing that right now by being so inclusive with the different places that we go, and the just overall stories that we tell, because people find themselves in our characters, in the people that they know who are like our characters, in the stories that we enjoy because there's somebody else's works that we get to help, like showcase through our books, right? So yeah.
How long did it take you to create Grandma D and the Magic Book Machine?
Oh, I'll take out this big sign that says "work in progress" right now because it's constantly being reworked and worked. But to get to where we are, it's I would have to say since 2016, I think, is like 2015 technically with Fifi first in the classroom. To build to this place where we're at, it's been 2017. And then, of course, you know, the pandemic was not exactly the best for us to be able to go off and do what we do best, which is our live shows, get the kids up there and get them involved with us. We like to interact with the kids. We love that. So I would say since 2017, we've been building, and over the last couple of years, especially with, you know, this last year, we got our grant through the city, DCASE grant. So I was very, very grateful for that. So it's just these little uphill movements that we've been making and finding our way and finding I guess you could say, following of people, kids online, even on, what is it? The TikTok?
TikTok.
Yes, thank you.
Like my videos on
Yes,
TikTok.
right,
Don't forget that.
right.
I'm on
So-
TikTok.
We know, girl, we know. See what I mean? All about herself. So, sorry. So yeah, we're just trying to get ourselves out there. Even still, we've been online a little bit more the last couple of years, especially like you said, since the pandemic. It's kind of, that's all we've been able to do. We did online birthday parties even during that time too. So that was fun, where everybody would get to participate in a different style of birthday online. So they took on a few different ways of taking the show during pandemic.
Yeah, you got creative at that time too. Well, about how many stories and how many books have there been through the years?
I think about 50. 50?
50.
Yeah, maybe around that many.
50.
For the live shows, I'd say about, I think 7, 5, 6 or 6, 7. And those are the like shorter to longer live shows. But for the smaller ones, I think it's 48 plus this. Yeah, I think it's 48. And then one that I haven't released because I'm in it and don't care for it.
Grandma was
Well, are you going to
Yeah.
perform a little something for us today?
Yeah, we thought we would read. Well, I'm going to let them read since that's what they do best. But I thought we would read our first book that we did by Jessica Herthel and Jazz Jennings and illustrated by our friend Sheila McNicholas. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stand and hold the book so all of our friends can see. All right. So I apologize if there's any lighting issues.
For as long as I can remember, my favorite color has been pink. My second favorite color is silver, and my third favorite color is green.
Here are some of my favorite things: dancing, singing, backflips, drawing, soccer, swimming, makeup, and pretending I'm a pop star.
Most of all, I love mermaids. Sometimes I even wear a mermaid tail in the pool. My best friends are Samantha. My best friends are Samantha and Casey. We always have fun together. We like high heels and princess gowns or cartwheels and trampolines. But I'm not exactly like Samantha and Casey.
I have a girl brain, but a boy body. This is called transgender. I was born this way. When I was a little girl, my mom would say, "You're such a good boy." I would say, "No, Mama, good girl." At first, my family was confused. They'd always thought of me as a boy.
As I got a little older, I hardly ever played. As I got a little older, I hardly ever played with trucks or tools or superheroes, only princesses and mermaid costumes. My brother told me this was girl stuff. I kept right on playing.
My sister says I always talk to her about my girl dreams and how one day I would be a beautiful lady. She would giggle and say, "You're a funny kid."
Sometimes my parents let me wear my sister's dresses around the house, but whenever we went out, I had to put on my boy clothes again. This made me mad. Still, I never gave up trying to convince them. Pretending I was a boy felt like telling a lie.
Then, one amazing day, everything changed. Mom and Dad took me to meet a new doctor who asked me lots and lots of questions. Afterwards, the doctor spoke to my parents, and I heard the word transgender for the first time. That night at bedtime, my parents both hugged me and said, "We understand now. Be who you are. We love you no matter what." This made me smile and smile and smile.
Mom and Dad told me I could start wearing girl clothes to school and grow my hair long. They even let me change my name to Jazz. Being Jazz felt much more like being me.
Mom said that being Jazz would make me different from the other kids at school, but that being different is okay. What's important, she said, is that I am happy with who I am.
Being Jazz caused some other people to be confused too, like the teachers at school. At the beginning of the year, they wanted me to use the boys' bathroom and play on the boys' team in gym class. But that didn't feel normal to me at all.
I was so happy when the teachers changed their minds. I can't imagine not playing on the same team as Casey and Samantha.
Even today, there are kids who tease me or call me by a bull name or ignore me altogether. This makes me feel crummy. Then I remember that the kids who get to know me usually want to be my friend. They say I'm one of the nicest girls at school.
I don't mind being different. Different is special. I think what matters most is what a person is like inside. And inside, I am happy. I am having fun. I am proud. And I am Jazz. The end.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Ooh, the end.
That was great. Thanks, you two.
Thank
Real
you.
special story.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. That's so wonderful. And wow, we are actually out of time. We thank you so much, Tristan, and
And thank
Grandma
you, Fifi.
Dee,
Thank
and
you, Fifi the dog, and
Thanks,
Grandma
Thanks for
Dee.
having us.
Yes.
I don't care too much for goodbyes. So for now,
Farewell.
Farewell. Thank you so much. This is Community Unity Now. This is Bill Morton. I am Trudy Liang, and this has been the Community Unity Now, the D Tycoon Show. Thank you so much, founder Catherine Brown D Tycoon. Have a good night and see you next week.
Good night.